Finally, the EZAs we've all been waiting for. And man, do they look good. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have the EZA details for the LR exchange, Vegeta and Goku in the LR, Krillin and Gohan from the 2021 Worldwide Download Celebration. As many of us expected, they are receiving their EZA here during the Namek Saga Dirty Fireworks Vegeta celebration. After all, they were featured on the category banner during this celebration, which basically all but guarantees their EZA. But it's here. We were getting a tad bit worried there for a second, but after the part 2, they finally decided to reveal it. I guess since they were doing a double LR EZA, they decided to push them both to part 2. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what they are doing and talk about what's coming up here in the next couple of days. So let's start with the Vegeta and Goku. So they are now a Planet Namek Saga category Key 4 HP attack defense 150% or Int types Key 4 HP attack defense 100%. Pretty standard for a yellow coin LREZA. Their 12 key super attack is greatly raising attack for the turn and raising defense for 1 turn, causing colossal damage, while the 18 key is raising attack and defense for 3 turns and causing mega colossal damage. So stacking for 3 turns, which is nice. It's better than what it was before, where he was only stacking for 1 turn. Passive on the Vegeta is key 3 HP attack and defense 180%. He gets key 4 and reduces damage received by 30% when HP is 30% or more. So that's nice. So he's got 30% damage reduction. He's got key 4 and launches an additional attack with a high chance of becoming a super attack when HP is 50% or more. He also gets key 4 and launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when HP is 70% or more. He also has an additional attack and defense 150% when attacking, and if HP is 50% or less starting in the character's attacking turn, or after 5 turns from the start of battle, he revives with 70% HP recovered, exchanging with Goku. So, all in all, decent enough on the Vegeta side of things. He's going to be a great link partner for the Dokkan Fest AGL Vegeta. They share quite a few links, looking pretty good. Definitely not looking like the slot 1 unit I was hoping for Vegeta, but I mean, depending on the play, I think you can mix him around, right? He's got some pretty high stats, and with 30% damage reduction, I mean, he's gonna definitely be all right here. Plus the stacking for 3 turns, we gotta see how that plays out with the 30% damage reduction. So with that in mind, let's go ahead, let's take a look at what happens once they exchange. So once they exchange, right, if we remember before, Goku was incredibly powerful, but it was always hard getting off that exchange. We can see now that revive is a little bit easier to proc too. Now, on his new 12 key, he is greatly raising attack for the turn and raising defense for the turn, causing colossal damage. On the 18 key, he's raising attack and defense for 3 turns. So he's stacking once more once transformed. Well, let me see that again. Okay, so, I mean, it's almost the same exact super attack effect now. Once exchanged, they get key 10 and attack and defense 200% plus an additional attack and defense 159%. Wouldn't be a Goku without that, right? And when performing a super attack, he reduces damage received by 30%, has a high chance of performing a critical hit, and key 5 and attack 59% when there's an extreme ally or extreme class enemy. They also get an additional damage reduction and performs a critical hit when Planet Namek Saga enemy or ally. So 60% damage reduction on a Namek Saga team, or even just having one other Namek Saga ally, which isn't that hard to do, right? I mean, I imagine with these yellow coin LRs, you're probably going to be running him on Namek Saga anyways, with the Vegeta or with the Krillin and Gohan, or with the new Gohan and Piccolo. Like, this won't be too hard to activate. The one I'm concerned about here is this extra 15. At least it's only 59%, but when facing an extreme class enemy. And I only say that it's just most of the new fights are against super class enemies, right? Like the hardest non-super class fights we have are Cellmax and Janemba. So I mean, that we could see more in the future, but I mean, that it doesn't suck. Like, it doesn't kill the unit, right? He's already got 200% plus everything else that he's doing. Like, he's gonna be fine. It just note that, you know, in a meta where most of the bosses are super class, this is something you need to consider. So honestly, looks pretty good. I like what I'm seeing. I can't wait to test them out against some of these newer bosses, right? We will be getting the Peppy Gals bosses here soon, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in that fight, along with the new Gogeta and Janemba fights. So pretty good there. Let's take a look at the Krillin and Gohan. After all, they did EZA. They will be EZAing as well. So Krillin and Gohan, on their 12 key, they are raising attack and defense infinitely. Ooh, nice. And this is good because they have a lot of additionals, or at least they did before. So raising attack infinitely, and causing colossal damage. Their 18 key is greatly raising attack and defense infinitely. Ooh, I like that. So they are stacking and causing mega colossal damage to the enemy. They have attack and defense 170% and a medium chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, and an additional key 1 per key sphere obtained. They have an additional key 1 per rainbow key sphere and an additional attack and defense 50% and chance of evading enemies. Chance of evading 20% when performing a super attack. Oh, that's nice. So I believe the when performing a super attack, that means it's not going to proc till after they super, right? So they're not going to slot 1 there with that. But that does mean they have a 50% chance after they super attack. Well, I mean, they could, right? That's still a third. It depends how much damage they get up. Now, they also get attack 50% and launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance to become a super attack when 18 or more key, and launches an additional super attack and chance of evading 20% when key is 24, and then they change the battle suit when conditions are met. Although I do not believe it mentions the conditions here, but should be the same as it was before. So, if you get the 24 key, he's got 50% evasion, and then he's got another 20% when performing a super attack, so 70% evasion, because it should be additive, right, like it is with the other passive hidden potentials. So actually, this is actually pretty good. Stacking and dodge, I mean, this is really, really good, right? But it's, I mean, they're gonna stack a lot more, but I mean, consider, like, this is also like what Harudegarn is doing, so just keep that in mind. So I am curious. Let's see. So once they do their costume change, what changes? So, ooh, okay. So, this is where we're going to run into problems. So they're only infinitely stacking until they costume change, and okay. So, with their new 12 key, once they do the costume change, they greatly raise attack for 1 turn, raise defense for 1 turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy. 18 key is massively raising attack for the turn, greatly raising defense for the turn, and causing colossal damage. They are getting attack and defense 200%, and with a high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, they get an additional key 1 per key sphere obtained, plus another additional key 2 if it is a rainbow key sphere, plus an additional attack and defense 58%, and chance of evading enemies' attack 20% when performing super attack. So there it is again. That's 70% chance to evade right there. They also get an additional 77% attack, and launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack when key is 18. They have a 30% chance to perform a critical hit when key is 24, and guaranteed additional attack. So, I mean, they're going to be hitting big numbers once they exchange, but actually, I want to see something here. I want to pull up what their condition is. Let's pull this up real quick. What is their condition? All right, let's go Krillin. Okay, here we go. Right here. All right, so I just want to see what their condition is real quick, because it's actually pretty. Yeah, okay. No, that's not their condition. Okay, after performing 4 or more supers, so that greatly stacking is only going to go for about a turn or 2, right? Turn 1. I mean, you could literally proc it on, with the additionals that they're doing, you could literally proc this on their second appearance now, because they'll launch an additional attack So you'll launch your additional attack. You'll launch your attack. You'll launch your additional front. Let's say you get the 18 key. You have a 18 or 24 key. You're gonna have a chance of launching that additional attack. And then you have another chance of launching an additional attack when the key is 24. Because I think this is, yeah. Okay, I think this works like the GT Duo, right? So if you get the 24 key, you have a guaranteed additional, but it also procs the 18 key, so you have another chance of additionals. Plus you have your hidden potential additional. So in theory, you could proc this change on the next appearance after their first appearance, which means you're only getting 4 stacks. If you don't get it, right, you could possibly get 2, maybe 3 on the first turn, and then another 2 to 3 up to 4 on the second turn. So it's really going to depend on how many stacks they decide to do in the first or second appearance. That is going to determine how much they get built up. But I mean, you're probably going to average somewhere around, we'll say on average, you'll probably see 6 to 7, somewhere between 6 and 8 stacks on him, realistically, right? 8 in the best case scenario, 6 on probably the worst case scenario. So I don't think it's going to be too terrible for them, especially considering, right, how much extra they're getting here with the extra attacks and the 200% raise, plus this being a massive raise. I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's just something to be aware of. And then plus the fact that they've got a crap ton of evasion. I think they're still going to be pretty good, honestly. I think they're going to help because the one thing I noticed about the Namek Saga team, as through running Gohan and Piccolo and through running Vegeta, is, right, they lack some big hitters, right? You're reliant on outside forces for those hitters. Like in the case of Vegeta, you're reliant on the Brolys. This is definitely going to help that out. They're definitely going to help that. They're going to do a lot of damage. So I could definitely, I don't see this being an issue, honestly. I think it's going to be more than fine. So that is the EZA info. I'm liking what I see, and they looking really, really good. And I think they are maybe not exactly what the Namek Saga team needed, but they're definitely a step in the right direction to filling out Vegeta's team, which I can get on board with. So one last thing I want to leave you with, Dokkan Global, and JP for that matter, has done something they haven't really done. In the in-game news, they gave us a little sneak peek of things that are coming all together. So we do have this surprise Dragon Family reunion. I believe this is the Halloween event that's going to be coming later this week, and they're just kind of giving us a hint of it. Of course, on Global, we are getting the Peppy Gals banner and Roshi coming, along with the Peppy Gals Red Zone battle. So that should be fun. Bulma incoming, hardest boss. We're also getting the next stage of the quest area, and I'm not sure if we're getting a new character with this one. I do believe the schedule said we are, so I mean, next one could be a King Cold and Cooler, maybe. I'm not really sure what to make of this, but I mean, the last two were Bardock and Frieza, so I could definitely see this being related that way, right? So King Cold and Frieza here. Or Cooler, rather. We're also getting a new Dragon Ball History, the Peppy Gals, the next Battle of Wits, Extreme Super Battle Road, and then 2 burst modes. One thing I noticed is interesting is we are getting the Frieza, Evil Emperor of the Universe burst mode. So that's interesting because Videl's burst mode did have a burst mode during the Roshi celebration, but this one is interesting, and I'm curious why this is coming, right? The Full Power Frieza event. That's interesting that is getting a burst mode. So we'll have to see if that is connected to anything at all. It could just be random because of the Namek Saga EZA. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is the translations for the LR Vegeta and LR Krillin and Gohan EZAs. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing, but, you know, we'll have to definitely wait till we see them in game. So guys, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know what are your thoughts on the 2 new EZAs and the upcoming content. I'll have a full video breaking down the Roshi stuff and what you can expect in this quick celebration, but let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.